I do feel like, and this is a good question to go around the table here, that I've always felt that Enterprise had the characters that were the most underutilized. Especially for me, it's Travis and Hoshi. I felt like, long term, but we're only talking about this one episode here. Mike's like getting ready to frown at me so hard. But, overall, I guess just talking on this first episode, were you happy with how they introduced and how they utilized the characters?
I guess I'll answer first because you usually go to me first anyway and put me in the hot seat.
What do you think, Bridget? Oh, sorry. No, go ahead.
I think they were all utilized well. I mean, you had a little relationship between Trip and Mayweather that was kind of cute, and then there was Hoshi had her whole thing as the communications officer, and she had her communicating with the Klingons and not just the one Klingon that they had on their ship, who was Tiny Lester. Debo from
so glad you brought
Friday.
that up. So glad you brought that up. Oh, is this your bike? I didn't know you wanted it back, homie. That's a line.
Ryan
from
and I
Friday.
are both big fans of the movie Friday. And so that was good to see. I was at first I was like, wait a minute, he looks familiar, and then I remember seeing Tiny Lester in the credits, and I was like, oh yeah, that's him. But okay, so back to the characters. Phlox got a great introduction. He was probably my favorite character overall in this first episode.
Really?
Least. Yeah. He was just. What was the one line he had?
Optimism, Captain.
Yeah, that was so funny and so cute. And then who else? Who am I missing? Yeah, Jolene T'Pol Blaylock, and so she obviously had a big part. Even what's Dominic Keating? I forget his character's name.
Lieutenant Reed.
Yeah, Reed. He had plenty of lines, and I think they did a good job of utilizing everybody, like you said, in this first episode. I mean, I'm just talking about the main cast, but even Saval and Vance Armstrong, whatever his name is. Huh? Yeah.
Vaughn
Armstrong, right? Yeah. Everybody
Sorry.
had.
No, you're right.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. Everybody
it's
had.
Like we're sitting with Wikipedia herself.
Yeah. I can just say, Stephanie, help me out here. Yeah, no, I mean, I think I think they did a great job of and really it was organic too. It wasn't forced either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What do you think, Stephanie? Did they introduce everybody and utilize them properly to your liking in this viewing?
I think so. And I think, again, spoilers, whatever, but going forward, I know a lot of people feel like Hoshi and Mayweather were underutilized for the rest of the series. But in this series, in this intro, I think everybody was pretty equal. I think they set up the little triangle that was going to be, the T'Pol, Captain Archer, Trip, as the core. They set that up right from the get with that first dinner and everything. And you're kind of like, oh, these are going to be the big three of the series, just like every other series had their big three. I thought, with Mayweather, with making sure everybody understood that, the whole boomer thing, they introduced that pretty quickly, that he was actually raised in space to kind of bring home the whole Warp 5 is a big deal because it takes months. I mean, he was talking about how it took him like 3 grades of school to get from point A to point B. So I thought Mayweather was introduced well. I love the fact that they had Hoshi as the linguist because they didn't have the universal translator. She was the universal translator. And I thought that they did a really good job with her, especially when she was trying to actually, for the first time, talk to a Klingon.
Well, they had the universal translator, but I guess it wasn't set up for all these different languages. I guess
right,
had a hard time
or something.
Assimilating new languages.
Right, so they actually had to have a person that could do what Hoshi could do.
Right, yeah.
And I always thought that was great. As far as Lieutenant Reed, which, by the way, I would be remiss as the #1 Enterprise fan not to mention today also that we're recording this happens to be Dominic Keating's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Dominic Keating. By the time you hear this, you'll be like, it was 2 weeks ago, damn it.
But we are recording it on his birthday, so
that's cool.
Yeah. So anyway, and
Wait, you mean we don't record these the same day that they go out?
Damn! Did I spoil
No, you
something?
didn't. No, it's fine.
We're like the Suliban. We just kind of flip in and out of things.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I think Reed set up. I don't think, as an armory officer, you don't get quite the feel for what he's supposed to do. And I felt kind of that way as I've been rewatching the series, because trust me, I've been rewatching the entire series. Sometimes I feel like, he's tactical, he's armory, and I just feel like sometimes the captain, like Archer, just takes over with that kind of thing. Like when they were on the planet trying to find out what happened with Clang, and I just felt like, he is your guy. He's supposed to be like on the front lines protecting everybody, and it was Archer that was out there saving DePaul, and it was Archer that got shot in the leg, and then all of a sudden.
Right. Well, this was hearkening back to the original series. I remember, the writers are mentioning something to where, with the original series, there was that triumvirate of Kirk, Spock, and McCoy, which is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
They definitely wanted those three, and they wanted to kind of recreate that. But also back then, as we know in later series, the captain stays on the ship and the first officer goes off with Worf or whatever and saves the day. But back then, with the original series, Kirk was the hero going off to save the day.
Kirk always went everywhere, yeah.
Right. So they're trying to recreate that with Archer being kind of like the Kirk of the time.
Well, and that's one of the things that I love about the series in general, is you get to kind of see where all of these protocols come in. Mm-hmm. Like why in later series did they decide to do this? And again, like the Prime Directive, you actually kind of get a feel for why the Prime Directive was brought about. And I've said this before, and if you sit down and watch the series, you will agree probably that Trip is probably the main reason they invented the Prime Directive. And that kind of starts with this, where they're on, and I can't believe I can't remember the name of the planet. I just watched the episode
Rigel
today.
10.
Thank you. When they were on Rigel. See, look at that. We're helping each other. When they were on Rigel and Trip kept trying to interfere with what was going on with other species, and Paul had to pull him back. That's a lot of foreshadowing for the rest of the series, that Trip tends to put his foot in where it does not belong.
Right. Better than other things, though, I guess. And I did like what you said, that it did feel like a sequel to First Contact. I think that's spot on, because it did feel like that. Bridget, what do you think about, how do you feel about like the characters getting introduced and how they were utilized? Did you fall in love with some? Did you not get enough of others?
Well, I thought it was fun how they picked Floyd Mayweather, I guess, as an inspiration for Mayweather, who cares about fighting.
Maybe.
He really cares that they can defend themselves. Boxer Floyd Mayweather, I hope, was an inspiration. I also really loved that dynamic between the Vulcan, I don't know her name, and the captain. I'm sorry? T'Pol and Trip. Captain Archer? No, Archer.
Yeah. Yep.
At the beginning. I thought I was in the beginning of a Star Trek rom-com, because they really hated each other.
Yeah.
So I was very excited about what was happening there. Also, I thought that they built up that we don't like her in a very smart way, because she hated his dog. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, that's how you set up a bad guy. Because I'm like, not liking a dog, that's like an instant no-no for me. That's a whole John Wick in space thing going on there.
Yeah. What did she say? I've been taught to tolerate uncomfortable,
offensive odors or something.
Situations. In other words, I was her saying, I'm tolerating this offensive situation of being with you guys. And then she's going to say something else later on. The dog starts humping her leg, and she's like, ugh. It's just like she's just oozing with discontent, and we love it.
So upset about a very cute dog. Look at that.
You need to keep watching. You just need to keep watching the series.
Yeah. After this, though.
Not now.
I enjoy more puppies. I'm very happy about that. I also thought it was neat that they gave female Vulcans super smelling. They're pregnant women, I guess. I don't know.
Thinking it's like, wait a minute, pregnant women, Vulcan females. Yeah, that's exactly where my brain went to.
They're very logical. Doesn't check out with pregnant women, but yes, the other part, super smells, does.